My name is Daniel Cornelius Robinson. I am 24 years old. I went missing on June 23rd, 2021, out of Buckeye, Arizona, and I am still missing. Hey everybody, it's Donald. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. I'm really glad to have you here with me. Today I'm going to be going over the missing persons case about Daniel Robinson, as I just stated. This case has been severely mishandled by the police, and it's really, really upsetting to me. That's why I'm not wearing makeup today, because a lot of times when I do research on this case, I have to take breaks because it makes me cry, because in a lot of sense, I'm upset by what's happened in this case, and I have a personal experience with my best friend who went missing out of Kingsman last year, and the similarities in how these cases are handled, it's mortifying, and I feel that Daniel deserves to have as much spotlight on his case as he can get. He went missing around the same time as Gabby Petito, but since Gabby happens to be a, pretty little blonde girl, it was a lot easier for them to cover her. And so what I want to do today is I want to talk about Daniel, and I want to do my best to try and make sure people don't forget about him, because he is important too. And I will always say this every time you read about having seeing a family who has a missing person or missing loved one. This is a reality for them. This doesn't go away. It stays. And just the sheer neglect and downright shitty work done by the police department aggravates me. Because I feel if they would have done their due diligence in the beginning, we would have answers. And the way that they handled evidence, that's a whole other thing that I'll get into this video, but this is pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. This is a website that's been started by his family. Up here there's a petition. Please sign the petition. It's for the governor he's trying to get some of the laws changed out there because of how poorly Daniel's case has been handled. You can donate. Daniel is originally from South Carolina, and that's where his dad is from. And his dad had to leave South Carolina and is in Arizona full-time right now, and he's doing searches every week for his son. His dad is an amazing man. Daniel was lucky and is lucky to have him as a father. This man, as soon as he found out his son was missing, he just came right on out. And he's a disabled war veteran, but he still comes out every single weekend and stays and searches for his son. He hosts daily morning updates about his son's case on his YouTube channel and on his Facebook page. But here we've got an event coming up that I'll show you in just a second. If you are in the Arizona area or can make it out there, he needs help searching. Each time they go out, the group just gets smaller, and he needs those numbers. He needs all of the help that he can get. If you have an expertise in any kind of area, reach out to him, because he is trying to do everything he can to get answers for his son, because the police department, essentially the police department has said he's just a missing person who is living in the desert somewhere that's lost. They won't say that he's deceased or anything like that, but they won't put resources into going out to search for him. And then if you want to volunteer in other ways, you can, that's another thing you can do. You can just click on that, and this is just shows you what you can, what that will take you to. But this is something that I wanted, this is the reason why I wanted to put Daniel's video out today. And there's a reason why I'm wearing yellow. It has to do with Daniel. And I originally had planned to attend this. They are having a candlelight vigil for Daniel in the House Senate lawn in Phoenix, Arizona. And I wanted to go out and be there, but my life being what it is, I can't just pick up and leave, unfortunately. And so in Mr. Robinson's videos, when he talks about this, he talks about wearing yellow and having yellow ribbons to show support for Daniel. And then here, this talks about all of the weekly searches that they do and what they use. Here you can print out flyers. If you live in another state and sharing flyers is maybe one of the only things you can do, it never hurts, because you never know who's gonna see it. If you want flyers sent to you, contact him. He will be more than happy to send you out flyers to put up and around where you live. And then here it just talks about this Saturday when he's having the vigil, they're going to be doing foot searching, off-road searching. They're going to be passing out flyers, and they're really hoping that people that are going to come in for the vigil can help search, because like I said, he really needs the numbers. This vigil is so important to this family. It's a statement to not only the Buckeye Police Department, but to the Arizona Attorney General and the mayor of Buckeye, all of that down there. It is a statement to them to show that Daniel still matters, and that there's people here who want justice for him. And I wish I would had the ability to go out there, but I don't. So I spoke to Mr. Robinson, and I asked him if it would be okay if I, just I have a video that I made just for the police department, and all of them, and I also told him about the video that I made for Daniel, and I wanted to have an interview with Daniel's dad in it, so you guys can hear him and see how much he loves his son. But with it being like the week of the vigil and everything, he just got so busy, and so hopefully sometime next week I'll be able to talk with him and be able to let you guys hear more about Daniel's story. One thing that you should know about Daniel is, I don't know if you can see it in this picture, is right here. They tried to get him fitted with a prosthetic arm when he was little, and Daniel didn't like that. And so he had no issues with this. He was happy. even though he was missing one of his hands. It did not slow him down one bit. He from what I understand, he was quite the comedian. And, you know, hearing his dad talk, I can see that. I can tell that Mr. Robinson is a very funny man. But he has to put a lot of that aside because he's got to be strong for his son. And here is some of the videos that he's made. He's actually sent an email to the Buckeye Police Department out there. He's sent a letter to the chief of police. And he's also had his story shown on CNN and a couple other bigger news networks. And I will include those in my video. But the way that Daniel went missing is very odd. He is a geologist, and so he was working out in Arizona, and he was checking out some of the wells that are out there. And the last day that he was seen, he was going out to check some wells, and he had spoken to a coworker, probably they think that based on what the police say, they think it was close to when he disappeared, but I don't trust anything that this police department has to say regarding this case, because they've just done shitty detective work. I've seen my fair share of mishandling of cases, but this one, in a sense, almost is like the worst one that I've ever seen. So here he was on CNN. And one thing you should know is, I'll go back here, I should have showed this first, is when Daniel went missing, the police department went out searching for him. Maybe it's, the police department went searching for him, and they followed up, with the work, and, talked to the person who last saw him, and there's so many things that do not add up to what happened. The police did cadaver dog searches, they had drones, they had all this other, they had access to this stuff, and they brought it out to the desert where he was last seen at that well site, and they searched. And they searched for, I want to say, 2 or 3 weeks, and then they were like, well, we can't find anything, and that was it. And so Daniel's dad was just kind of shocked, because there's no detective work, there's no legwork going on right now. Everything that's happened in this case, evidence-wise, and I'm going to talk about now, has been discovered by Daniel's dad. When you come to the website and you donate, you are donating to help this man stay in Arizona and find his son. You are donating for him to have things forensically tested. For example, I think this is the article. His car was found 3 miles southwest of where he was working, of the well he was supposed to be checking. And it wasn't found by the police, even though they had said that they had searched that area where he went missing. When they found the car, you could tell that it had been involved in a rollover crash, and it was the only crash recorded on the car's system. And then here it talks about how it showed the speed up before the impact, and it showed that once the impact happened, he tried to drive, looked like an attempt was made to drive the car, but it didn't work. Found 40 more, so this is showing that after the crash, it looks like he attempted to start his car multiple times, but they're not sure how many. And this is the thing that is really, there is an 11-mile discrepancy between the crash data report and the odometer reading. To me, now if you are a car person and understand motor vehicles, can you please explain to me how that makes sense? How can a car drive 11 miles between the crash when it says that once it stopped, it didn't go anywhere, but then they're telling you that there's a discrepancy in the mileage? I don't understand that. And to me, I would consider this a major red flag as to something happened to this car. There is something going on with this car, and I don't know what it would be. But it is a Jeep. And the police did search the car. They said that the airbags were deployed. They found his cell phone, wallet, and keys. And they also found food and a case of water. Now, I have asked Mr. Robinson about this because I wanted to know, did they ever find any kind of blood or any indication that he could have been injured in a crash? Because I know sometimes, like for example, if you get into a car accident and you have a head injury, you can, like a concussion, it can kind of mess with you mentally, but it didn't indicate. He said the police department told him it didn't look like that. They couldn't find anything like that in the car, which to me is extremely suspicious. Because if you have a car that has rolled over and on top of it, he had to kick out the sunroof. So if he had to kick out the sunroof, you think he might have, left something there. But they said that there was nothing there. And then 2, the phone, wallet, and keys, food, and water. If this had been an accident and he had no cell service, he had enough provisions to get him through till the next day and walk back to get help. He had the ability and the means to do so in his car. He had the resources, he had the food, water, everything. But that was all left in his car. And it took them, like I said, the car was found by a rancher 4 weeks after he went missing. And then here it's talking about he is 5'8", 165 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. And I'm trying to see. There's an image of his car, and I'm trying to find where the image was, because I want you guys to see that what the police department says, just, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Maybe it... Here is his car right here. Okay, this is it. So, if we look at the car, there's just so many things that are not making sense. You can see that the airbags did deploy and that the sunroof is kicked out and that it was rolled over. And this is from this is from his dad. He says, imagine if this picture was the only thing you have to see while seeking answers to why your son is missing. Every moment, every second, every hour, every day that passes fights against hope. But I have faith, and faith gives me hope and makes me hope that makes me not ashamed because of God. So the police department didn't find this. Someone else did. The rancher did. They found his car. And another thing that I found out from Daniel's dad is that when the police department came to do forensic work on the car and collect evidence out of it, when they found Daniel's cell phone, they didn't put it in an evidence bag. The detective who was collecting the evidence put it in his shirt pocket. So he contaminated Daniel's cell phone because he didn't put it in evidence properly. And the only thing that the police did on Daniel's phone, and I tell you that they fucked off on the forensic stuff, this is what I mean. The only forensic word that I can say that they said that they did with this phone was, they said that they were able to turn it on and that the memory card had been removed and that it showed that the phone had things that had been deleted. That was it. Then they gave his dad back the phone. They did not send the phone out to get tested further by any other law enforcement agency. Daniel's dad is having that done now. That's what when you donate, that's what you're paying for. He is using that money to help find closure for his son. He apparently, right before he disappeared, he said that he had met somebody. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. This is the one I was looking for. So there's the Buckeye Police Department, and then it's showing here how they found the car. So you can see here's the ditch, and then his car, and then a close-up of it. And to top it all off, in searching for his son, he's found other missing people. So he's been able to bring closure to other missing people searching for his son. And now I understand that these small police departments, they can't do everything. But they should have been able to find this car with the amount of searching they stated that they did. And he had talked to his family about how he had met somebody and was interested in, dating them and it was kind of news to the family because he hadn't mentioned the people before, and after he started talking about them, he went missing. And these people have never come forward to reach out to Daniel's family and tell him who they are and or any like that. So there's something odd about that whole situation as well. And that's something that they were able to tell was wiped from the phone, was some of that information. And I don't know. It could just be me being like, okay, well, you know that the phone was tampered with. So clearly there could be some further forensic work done on that phone to recover that missing data. If you have an iPhone, you can back it up to iCloud. If you have an Android, you can back it up to Google or whatever, Google and storage, and actually back up all your information and data that way. And so his phone would have a backup somewhere. But the police department didn't send it off to do it. They just gave it back to Daniel's dad. They processed Daniel's car, and they didn't find anything. They also gave that back to his dad. His dad has a storage unit with all of the evidence pertaining to Daniel's case that has been found, that's been given back to him by the police, because he doesn't want it to become contaminated. If there is a chance of if something did happen, if he was kidnapped or whatever may be, he doesn't want that to be impacted. So he has taken, the steps to make sure that it's in a secure location, and that once he has the money for it, he has the ability to do the proper forensic work done. Because based on how they handled the phone, I can only imagine how they handled the car. And probably contaminated the evidence in that car as well. And so when you go into having to deal with stuff that's contaminated, it becomes a much darker case, because clearly he's disappeared off the work site. And then to top it all off, they made him wait 12 hours to report his son missing. Now here, the laws have changed. There is no wait time to report somebody missing. You have the legal right to report somebody missing right away. And the police, even if they want to push back and say, well, we would prefer you wait, you can say, no, I want to file it now and get it done now. And most states are like that now, where you can file a report right away. And they made him wait 12 hours. So that's 12 hours that you don't know how much 12 hours could have made, what difference that could have made. If he was injured and wandered off somewhere, 12 hours makes a huge difference. That's 12 hours of time lost that could have been used for searching or anything. And that was gone. And that's the police department's fault. Now, when I told you guys Daniel's case struck a chord with me, my best friend last summer, her and her family went missing out of Kingsman, Arizona. And it is another small town that's out in Arizona. And when my friend and her family disappeared, they were supposed to have gone on a camping trip, and they didn't return when they were supposed to. And the family had, before I found out she was missing, she had been missing she and her family had been missing for 4 weeks before I found out they were missing. And the police department there handled the case almost identically to how they handled Daniel's case. The family were the ones who found my friend's phone, and they knew that we talked all the time, and so they contacted me. And it was probably at least 2 or 3 hours I spent talking with the family on the phone, because I wanted all the details and all the information that they had, because I'm like, I'm going to reach out to people I know that we both talk to and see if maybe I can get more information out of that. And it ended up in me making a YouTube video, and the YouTube video I made, I was having a panic attack. And the reason that I made the video when I was so upset was because I wanted people to know that my friend and her family mattered to me. It wasn't just a name on a piece of paper. She was my friend. I love her. She is like family to me. She is like my sister. And for me, it was really, really difficult to get through. And I just remember it took about a week and a half after posting that video. And it was such a roller coaster of emotions to go through. And I wasn't family. I was just her friend. We're very, very good friends. But I wasn't her family. I can't imagine what his dad is going through. But I can understand what it's like to see the police just quit giving a fuck about a case and make assumptions based on tips that are false and give false information, and the police just will run with that and leave it. And that's exactly what happened with my friend. They were given false information by someone close to them, and it wasn't true, and so the police stopped looking for him. And especially when you come to report a tip in missing cases, only do so if you have actual factual information that can bring these people home. Mr. Robinson is very, very clear that if you come onto the website and you submit information, he only wants you to do so if you have information that could lead to where Daniel's located. He doesn't want you coming in there with ideas of where he could search or anything like that. He actually has, you can contact him here. And then he also has, this is his cell phone number down here at the bottom. If you want to contact him, he has this number. You can text him or call him and say, hey, I saw, the video about Daniel's case. Can you tell me, a little bit more about if you have a specific question? And he's always happy to talk with people because he wants Daniel's case to be shared. And I think that, like I said, I can't make it to the vigil as much as I want to go. But he said he's going to be live streaming it. So I'm going to do my first live on Saturday. And I'm going to be streaming the vigil on my YouTube channel. And I would encourage all of you to come and support and be there. And just have a candle for Daniel. Wear yellow for Daniel. Just come show your support there. And I know that will mean a lot to Daniel's dad. He truly is a wonderful man, and I want to do my part in something that I feel passionate about. And because I feel like I relate, like with my friend, relating with what happened with her and seeing the same thing happen to him, it's given me the drive to be like, I've been through the same thing and I don't want anyone else to have to go through it. So I want to make sure that I know on my teeny tiny channel, I know I'm not dumb, but I do know that even just the smallest amount of putting out his case and giving this information to you guys can look at the case yourselves. I know that if the shoes were reversed, we would all want the same. We would all want help. We would all want the people to come and do whatever they could to help us find our missing loved one. And I hope that, you know, by sharing Daniel's case with you guys, that you'll be able to kind of take a look at other missing persons maybe in your area and see if there's anybody that you might be able to help. Because every missing person has a family who misses them and who loves them, or has someone who loves them and cares about them. And everybody deserves everybody deserves a chance to have their case shared, for people to go look for them, for people to find them. And his case has gone on for so long that I think it's time that we push back harder on the police department, and all the legislators out there, the attorney general, that the whole state. Stuff has to change. There's things that need to change. And to also, when Mr. Robinson does his question and answer segments, he is very, very open. If you just put the word question and then type out a question, if he can answer it or knows the answer, he'll answer it for you. And try and break it down the best that he can. And he always makes sure to keep Daniel in the forefront. And I think sometimes with missing persons, sometimes we forget that the focus needs to be on the person who's missing. This is the person who's missing. This is the person that's important. This is who we need to be focused on. And I think sometimes when we have missing persons cases with, you know, suspicious activity or whatever it may be, sometimes people just don't want to get involved because they're like, I don't want to deal with that if it goes whatever way, or be judged for helping with the case. And that's when you stop focusing on what's important, and that's the missing person. This is who we're looking for. He is a real person. He has a family who loves him dearly and wants him home. And on CNN, this video here that I'll put in, you can actually hear the reporter talk with Daniel about, or David, excuse me. David Robinson II is his dad's name. So Mr. Robinson talks about his son Daniel with the CNN reporter. And CNN also interviewed the police department. And the police department just, they look so foolish, because she comes at them with the contradicting information that's been found, and the police just are like, we don't know. We don't have answers. And it's like, no fucking duh. You know, we're trying to get you to find answers, and you don't want to get out and go find the answers to the case, you know, to what's important. And so right now, the other thing that he's been doing is he's finally been able to get access to people who can do well searches. So a lot of the wells that are out there they're old and they're very, very deep. And so you have to have specialized camera equipment that can go down far enough into the well to penetrate to all the way to the bottom and look through and see what's down there at the bottom of the well. And he said some of the stuff that he's found in the well is like extremely concerning, and it's drinking water for a lot of people, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I wouldn't want in my water. But he hasn't found his son in the wells that he searched yet, which he's thankful for. But and then this is one of the last things I'll show you guys, which I found very, very interesting. And this is from the Black and Missing Foundation. So here, it starts at from the 2020 statistics. So we have 543,018 people reported missing in 2020. 59% are white or Hispanic, and then 37% of that are a minority. Nearly 40% of missing persons are persons of color, yet African Americans make up only 13% of the population. So think about that. 13% of the population has 40% of missing persons cases. Now, you know, they can talk about maybe they run away, or it's a criminal thing, or... So you come down here. So if we have the female gender, and then the male, and then unknowns. And then there is information on here about children under 18, but since he is an adult, I don't think that information is necessarily important, but it's there if you want that information. They have the statistics there. And then here's another picture of him. And I'll do what I can. I will see if I can, I don't know how much stuff I can post in the description box of my video, since I'm still kind of new to making all of these videos, but I will do my best to post all the resources that I used for Daniel's case down there. And then please, Saturday, if you can make it Saturday and you can head out to Arizona, please go. Please help search for him and go be there for that vigil. Mr. Robinson he says everybody is family, and the man will treat you like family. And he, like I said, he is a wonderful, wonderful person. And so, he said, please wear yellow ribbon on your clothes or yellow clothing to show solidarity. And then they're asking no alcoholic beverages or drugs. They want to make sure that, you know, the vigil, even though you can consider it a protest, because in a sense that's exactly what it is a expression of unity and wanting to find somebody who is missing. But instead of yelling and bringing bullhorns, they're gathering in solidarity with candles to sing and pray and, you know, just ask for justice for him. And then if you want to go and you can make it, you can actually RSVP, and that way he can have an idea on how many people that are going to be there, so he can make sure that he has enough candles for everybody, and that if you need a yellow ribbon or anything like that, that he has enough for everybody, so that everybody's got yellow either clothes, ribbons, and that everybody has a candle. And that's this is the kind of stuff that makes a difference, not screaming and shouting at somebody. If you want to make a statement, this is the best way to do it, because it's a way of reminding the police and law enforcement and the state legislature, my son is still missing. Are we going to find him? What are we going to do about it? And so if you can, here's all of the information for that right here. And then and here, once again, if you guys want to contact him, you can put in your email the message. And then if you have, this is the part where I say, if you have a tip, that only click here if you have information about where he is. If you have an idea of where he could be, or know of something that might, or have an idea, or have heard something, you are more than welcome to use this. Please do not use this if you are going to want to give him an idea to search. That's what this is for, and what this is for. This is only for searching purposes, to help find him. If everything else you can use to contact, and they will get back to you. So if you can, like I said, I'm going to be streaming the vigil on my channel on Saturday, and it's 6:30 p.m. Arizona time. So I don't know what time that would be for a lot of you guys, but you could figure that out. But that's when it's gonna start, and I'm gonna be streaming it here, and then I'm gonna be wearing yellow, and I'm gonna have a candle, and I'm just gonna sit here and make sure that, even though I have such a small platform, for me, and I know for him too, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that somebody cares enough about his son to do it. And I do. So I'm going to be sharing that. But yeah, if you have any information, please helpfinddaniel.com is where you can get all of that. And like I said, if you come over here to the donation page, so he has been missing since last year. So this has been everything that he's raised. Now I will tell you this. He is living in Arizona right now, but he actually resides in South Carolina, so he doesn't have a home in Arizona. So he has to pay for that himself. So everything, when it comes to paying for, cadaver dogs to come search, or to have people look down in the wells and stuff like that, that's where the donations help him too. And if you, like I said before, if you are somebody who has a skill set that could help him in any way, if you have, missing persons work in your background, if you have any legal things in your background, like you used to be a lawyer or work for a lawyer, or can point him in a good direction, if you know anybody who does forensic work or work doing forensic analysis that could help him get some of this stuff analyzed, and maybe do it for fairly low cost or free, I know that would be an extremely helpful measure for him. He is very humble, and he always says thank you. And for somebody who has suffered so much, I don't hear him complain about, he never complains about, you know, the stuff he's going through. It's always about his son. It's always about his son. Because that's who's important. And, like, if you can't do financially, you can sign a petition for the state. You can, you know, go to the vigil. And then, you know, if you want to come join me and be with me, you're more than welcome to do that. That's another way that you can help. You can print off posters or ask him to send you posters to put up in your area. Even prayer, as silly as that sounds. He's grateful even if you just pray for him. And he's always said that anything helps. The smallest thing, from just coming and watching a live and interacting with him to praying for him and his family. And I feel that speaks a lot to the kind of man and son he raised. And I think cases like these, like I said, he went missing around the same time Gabby Petito did. And Summer Wells. And those two cases hit the headlines. Little missing 5-year-old white girl, and then Gabby. And she was also a young white female. And here's Daniel. And he got dropped off when the other ones went missing. And that should never happen. Race should never ever be a part of a missing person's case. Every missing person is important. It doesn't matter what their race, what their gender, whatever it is. That shouldn't matter. It shouldn't affect the way an investigation goes or is handled. And I know that there's a lot of people in this community who may not have heard about this case and who might be able to reach out to Mr. Robinson and help him and give him the information that he needs to make sure that he brings his son home. So Saturday, I'm gonna be doing my first live, or attempt to. We'll see how that goes. But so I'll be there. I'll have my candle. I'll be wearing yellow, and to show solidarity and my support for Mr. Robinson. And I've signed the petition already, and that's, believe it or not, the petition is, numbers matter. People, when you get enough people behind you and it starts affecting people's, you know, business, and the, you know, you get on the police department's ass about it, you can make things happen. And we need to make things happen in this case, because they've stopped happening. And every time they find something, they have to call the police. They have to, you know, pull out the GPS and tag it and take a photo of it. And then the police have to come out and collect it and see if it's worth of any evidentiary value. And that's how he's been, you know, dealing with everything that's going on. So, anyways, thank you for being here today and for joining me, and for taking the time to learn about Daniel and his case. If you guys are interested, please helpfinddaniel.com. If you guys, like I said, if you head to that website, it will give you so much information. And just to show you, I'm gonna pop over here. Here you go. Here is his YouTube channel. He has 644 subscribers, 45 videos, and see, 4 hours ago he was live. Yesterday he was live. And he was live for 2 hours today, an hour and a half today. And so if you come here, there's a reminder for a visual if you want to come support. And then see, this is just showing you, this is one of the wells that he's trying to get access to right now. But there's a tire blocking it, and it's a massive tire, and so they have to have he has to pay to have equipment people come in and take out this tire so he can go down and look inside this well shaft and see if there's anything down there. But yeah, see, just his dad is really a wonderful man. Mr. Robinson, if you watch this, you got people who care about your son, and I'm one of them. And I know you know that, but I just want to remind you, because sometimes I think we forget when times get tough. But you know, I'm going to use my platform, and I will keep talking about Daniel and his case, and I will do whatever I can to help bring him back and bring him home. So, you know, like I said, here's his YouTube channel. PleaseHelpFindDaniel.com is the official website. If you come to the YouTube channel, if you go to the About section, down here, it will give you all of that too. So no matter where you go, if you just even type in his name, a lot of stuff will pop up. And just know that something that may seem silly to you is actually something that's really important to somebody else. And I hope that you guys can take the time to say, have a prayer, positive thoughts, something. Do something. So, or come join me Saturday, and we can just, you know, hang out and watch the stream together, and, you know, just be there for Mr. Robinson and his family. So anyways, that's all I have for today, you guys, and I hope we can bring Daniel home. And if you guys want more missing persons cases for me to go over, I can do that. This one is just, it's the first one I'm going through because I related to it. And I actually found it through Frank. Frank is the person who shared this case, and because of Frank and him sharing it, I got involved in it. So you never know when you share a case who it might hit. And I hope it hits some of you and makes you guys wanna, you know, do something for somebody else. So, you know, whatever you think can be helpful. Anyways, I'm gonna insert the videos about him right now from the news networks where his dad has talked about the case, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.
24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. Nearly a month later, Daniel's Jeep was found in a ravine approximately 4 miles from where he was last seen, and police say that the vehicle appeared to have rolled and landed on its side. Daniel's clothes, his cell phone, wallet, his keys, they were all found at the scene, and police say that foul play is not suspected, but Daniel's family says otherwise. Joining us now is his family. We have Daniel's father, David Robinson, and Daniel's brother, Roger Colley Robinson. I want to thank you both for coming on this morning to talk about Daniel. And I do just want to start first, David, and then Roger, if you can tell me a little bit about your baby brother. But David, tell me about your son.
Thank you for bringing us on, Brianna. Daniel, he's a very outspoken guy from his childhood. Daniel, he's always challenged everything. He challenged his siblings. He want to outdo them academically. Everybody know that Daniel been born without a right hand. He never let that stop him. He done everything from learning how to play a French horn. He learned how to play the trombone. When he got into college, he sought out to be a geologist, and he pursued his dreams, and he accomplished those goals. Graduated with honors. He also is a friendly guy. He always have friends. The College of Charleston down there, I've seen so many of his friends that love him. Daniel's a guy that loves to travel. He spent times with a friend on traveling. He's loved nature. He liked to do hiking. Once he got out here to Phoenix, he liked to hike. He liked to travel, like I say, see nature. And he loved his career as a geologist. He liked to collect his rocks. He has a rock collection. But most of all about Daniel, he's a person that like to bring people together. And even in this moment when he's not here with us, he's bringing everyone together right now. So that's the type of person that Daniel is.
I will tell you, I have been reading about your son, and I have been so impressed by him and what a special person he clearly is. Your baby brother, Roger.
Yes.
And I just wonder, right now authorities are saying that there is no foul play suspected. That's not what your family thinks. Tell us about this.
Well, there's too many things that's going on with this case. From the beginning, as from a family standpoint, Daniel, he would never do anything, outside of telling his family. The first indication I thought that was very strange with Daniel is, after 6 hours not hearing from him at all, he either would call his siblings, his mom, or myself. He let somebody know where he's going. But once Daniel became missing, and we realized that, I think the quick action wasn't there quick enough, first of all. But then when, that caused me to have to do my own searching and things like that. But once his vehicle was found and the way it was found, it just didn't look right. It didn't sit right with me. That's why I ended up getting my own private investigator. And from that point, everything that was found from that point indicates that, we need to look a little farther than just saying he's just missing.
Roger, the Buckeye police say that the case remains open and active. They say currently we are consulting outside experts for enhanced analysis of the data from Daniel's vehicle. We are also asking anyone with information to please contact investigators. What do you think, Roger, about what police are doing and where this investigation into your brother's disappearance, where it stands?
From what I'm getting from this, I feel that, they're trying to do what's right at this point, but I feel that it's a little too late. Like my father said, had they been quick about it in the beginning, we wouldn't be here 3 months later, still searching for my brother and still looking for answers. I think my sister that lives in Arizona and my father did a lot in the beginning, trying to push and get things moving, pleading with the police, begging for them, hey, can you help us get a search? Can we do an air search? Can we get something? And I just think the lack of action initially is what's leading us here. And now they're having to backtrack and try to bring in outside sources to help search for my brother.
On Saturday, March 12th, there will be a candlelight